Perfect. Awesome. So let's just figure out one more thing. All right, we're good. Everyone can hear me okay? Everyone's good? Perfect, perfect. All right, guys. So, well, first off, thanks for coming out. All right, thanks for doing this. Taking time out of your evening, and we called it the Core Four goal setting workshop, right? It's a goal setting workshop, but we're really going to dive into something specific, kind of what I call the core four areas of your life. So it's not just going to be about health and fitness. It's gonna that's a bucket, but it's going to be about more than that. So, what you do need, if you got on late, if you have a notebook, a piece of paper, a writing utensil, we're going to get to that a little bit later on. For those who couldn't make it, right? If you're watching this, it's being recorded. If you want to revisit any points at any time, I'll send out the link a little bit later. So you'll always have access to this. But what is the core four, right? First off, guys, I didn't invent this. In fact, I don't know if I've invented anything. Really, it's I take bits and pieces of stuff of what I learn. I find what works for me, and then I apply it. Right. And that's what I urge you to do tonight. I don't need you to take every single thing out of here. A younger me would try to do everything, right? It would try to fix a million things at once, but we know that doesn't work. So what I want you to do is take what's applicable, right, and apply it, right? It could be one thing, it could be two things, it could be three things, but if it's just one thing, right, that's cool, that's okay, because one thing I firmly believe in is simplicity, right? Simple is better. It's replicable. And the core four is a concept I got. I was in San Diego about a month ago for a retreat with some friends, some fitness business owners, and I got this concept from my business coach. And like I said, it's not just about health and fitness. It's about making progress in four major areas of your life, and we'll dive in. But first, um, we're going to Antarctica. No, we're not. I guess you can if you want to, but we're going to talk about the 1,000 mile march. All right, the 1,000 mile march, guys. It's the story of the South Pole expedition. So we're going back to 1911, the year Ken was born. I'm just kidding, Ken. Just making sure he's paying attention. 1911, and I heard about this from Jim Collins. He wrote the book Good to Great. It's a great business book, great business author. He's pretty famous, and he shares the story of the 1911 South Pole expedition. So they wanted to get to the middle of Antarctica. So first off, let me clarify. I don't need you to march 1,000 miles unless you really want to. I also don't. Well, Denise, you're going to be hiking like 1,000 miles probably this summer after what you said this morning. I also don't believe in creating artificial adversity just for the sake of it. I think that's silly. But what this story does teach us is a valuable lesson about discipline and consistency. And that's something I hammer home a lot. Right, I sound like a broken record, and I'll talk about it all the time. Consistency, consistency, consistency. But this South Pole race in 1911, there were two explorers. One was a Norwegian explorer named Roald Amundsen, and then the other guy was a British explorer named Robert Falcon Scott. Right, so they had small teams. They had the same equipment, similar skills, experience. They were traveling around the world, but there was one major difference, right? And the Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen, him and his team marched exactly 20 miles per day, no matter what. And Antarctica, it doesn't have tropical weather. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's not the greatest of conditions, but no matter what, it could have been a sunny day with a little bit of wind. It could have been zero visibility. Him and his team kept marching, right? 20 miles per day, no matter what. But the other guy, Robert Falcon Scott. him and his team only pushed on the really good days. And Antarctica, I don't know how many really good days there actually are, but they pushed on those good days. They did about 40 to 60 miles. And then on the bad days, they rested, right? So the outcome on who won, right? The Norwegian guy, him and his team, they reached the South Pole the first. They also survived, right? They reached it about a month earlier than Scott's team. Scott's team reached it a month later. On the way back, they unfortunately died, right? And the lesson here isn't, well, there's a couple lessons. Number one, don't go too hard and then you die, right? Um, that's something you don't want to do. But it's really a lesson about discipline and consistency. And success isn't about just doing a ton of things when the conditions are perfect, right? And backing off when things get challenging. It's about showing up each and every day, putting in that steady effort, even on the days when you don't want to, and just doing it no matter what. So, how does this apply to real life? I'm going to drop some math for you. All right, I had to make sure the math was easy because you know me in math. I can barely time or count to 10 or time to 30 seconds. But let's use an example. How does this apply to your life? Okay. Let's take health and fitness as an example. So there's days when you don't want to work out. Who has had a day when they're like, you know what, I don't want to work out? Raise your hand. Because that it's 100%. I'm there. It's happened. It still happens, right? But we still do it. So there's gonna be days when you don't want to work out or show up. So imagine if you skip 25 workouts per year just because you just weren't feeling it. You just weren't feeling it. So 25 workouts. Let's say the average workout burns about 400 calories. So 400 times 25, 10,000, right? So 10,000 fewer calories burned. 3,500 calories is a pound, about 3 pounds. So over 5 years, right? So 3 pounds lost per year, over 5 years, that's 15 pounds. That can add up, right? But that doesn't even take into account the mental benefits of exercise, the strength you gain, the muscle, all of that stuff. We're just using this as just a simple calculation. But the lesson, right? It's small choices, they add up over time. Nothing happens overnight. And the thing I want you to remember, guys, is it's not about being perfect, right? Because if you're trying to be perfect, you're not going to get there. It's okay to have a high standard, right? And you all have high standards for yourself. That's good, but it's about being consistent over the long haul. And everyone that's on this call right now, you guys are, right? You guys are the epitome of consistency. So, um, awesome job. Um, so let's talk next. Had anyone heard about that story? The South Pole expedition? Ken, did you hear about it? No? No? Sarah. Well, you guys are on mute. You can unmute yourself if you want. Pretty neat story. But um so why people fail, right? Who's failed at a goal? Yeah, raise your hand. Everyone has. You all need to raise your hand because I know everyone's failed, right? It's just part of life. And every year, right, we're looking at right now, it's February 11th. Hard to believe, right? February is almost halfway through, which is kind of cool. But January 1st hits, right? New year, new you. New year, new me. Most people fail. 92% of people who set those New Year's resolutions, they never achieve their goals. And 80% have already quit by the end of this month, right? That have said so. Like that's a humongous amount. So it's kind of why I don't push the New Year, new me nonsense. Because first off, life's hectic after the holidays. And instead of resolutions that fade out, it's important we focus on the long-term game, right? Long-term game because fitness is a journey, right? It's a lifestyle. Okay. Some common reasons why people fail, and I've hit all of these, and I'm sure you guys have too. But number one, you try to do too many things at once, right? When you try to change too many things at once, and it might work for a week, but things start to fall apart, and after one by one, it goes away. You're not focused on one thing, you're focused on a million things. It does not work. Lack of structure and systems. This one's important because no one operates well in chaos. right? And there may be a few diamonds in the rough, but no one is like, you know what, I need more chaos in my life, right? Everyone is better when there's structure and systems in place, right? No matter if it's your health, just your life, where you work, right? Those things thrive on structure and systems. You set goals that don't really matter. Maybe they're kind of materialistic goals that have no deeper meaning. Doesn't mean those are terrible goals, but when the going gets tough, right? When you don't have a deeper reason why, then you're less apt to stick with it. And then the last one is that short-term mindset. It's instead of that long-term vision. If you have a short-term mindset, versus looking at the long game, I believe in setting short-term benchmarks, and we'll get into that. But if you don't have a long-term vision when it comes to your goals, then it's probably not going to work. So really, if you don't have a system in place or a reason that drives you, guess what, guys, your goals aren't going to stick. And I'm pretty sure we can all attest to that that's happened to us, right? And why we failed. Next is the four buckets of life. So we're not at our writing exercise yet, but this is really the basis of the core four, right? This is the meat and potatoes of the workshop, and let's go into these four buckets of life. And as you can see, guys, health and fitness is one of them, right? It's very important. I think you guys can all attest to that. You go to the gym consistently and have for a while, so you value your health and fitness. And then the other buckets, relationships, right? And then we have wealth and career. And then we also have personal growth and happiness. So, um, these buckets, usually it's the first three that I mentioned that people set most goals in, and they kind of forget about the fourth. So if health and fitness, right? We know no health, then, no wealth, really. You're not going to be able to enjoy your life if you're not healthy. You're not going to be able to do the things you want to do. You're not going to be able to feel the way you want. Relationships, this doesn't mean just spouse or anything, or someone close. It can be more than that. But the key is you can't go it alone. This includes family, friends, community. It can be coworkers, people you're close with. Wealth and career. This can be mean a few different things. We're talking financial health, planning, career growth, right? In your career, for me, business, right? Retirement goals. Ken, you might want to, that's a big bucket for you, right? Retirement goals. He's retired 4 times, so he needs to write a book about that, about how not to retire. And then the last one, personal growth and happiness. And we forget about this one because if you're setting goals and they don't make you happy, or if you're not placing happiness near the top, then you're not gonna be excited. You're not gonna do it. So that's a bucket we're gonna dive in, and there's a few different things that can fit into that bucket, and we'll go into it. Um, but before we do that and go into our writing exercise, there's one thing I want to clarify, and it's this thing about balance, right? Balance, balance, balance. We're always preach, what, we have to have, that perfect balance, right? And guys, the truth is balance it doesn't really exist. Or perfect balance doesn't really exist. It's not a thing. You've heard of work-life balance. That the perfect work-life balance doesn't truly exist either. There's just no such thing as perfect balance. And let me tell you why it's a myth, because on that pie chart there, it says 25% in each bucket. And that's a perfect split. But guess what? Those buckets aren't going to be equal in your life, right? You're going to go through different seasons where one area is going to take more focus than the others, right? So instead of striving for balance, it's focus on watering the flowers really at the right time, consistently doing it, but just know that it's not always going to be a perfect one. Um, and then lastly, you know, not everything's going to be fun. I know I mentioned happiness. We'll get into that, but some things are going to be necessary, right? It's necessary to go to the gym. It's necessary to do some of the hard things to reach your goals. So not everything is butterflies and rainbows. Who's got everyone got a piece of paper and a notebook? So we're going to dive into a writing activity, guys. And what we're going to do, so what I want you to write at the top of the paper 5 years. 5 years, and then put that's going to be 2030. I know it's hard to look ahead that much, but there's a reason why we're doing it. Because we're going to do a little bit of reverse engineering. That's by design. So 5 years, 2030. And then I want you to write, okay, I want you to write health and fitness, okay, and maybe give yourself a line or two. And then under that, okay, we'll write wealth and career. And then under that, we'll write relationships. And then under that, I want you to write personal growth and happiness, right? So go over that again. So 5 years, write 2030, and then we're just going to write health and fitness, wealth and career, relationships, and then personal growth and happiness. Okay. And then, I want you to turn the next page, right? And I want you to write 1 year, okay, and 1 year, and that's going to be 2026. And then I want you to write those same four things: health and fitness, wealth and career, relationships, personal growth and happiness. Okay. And then I want you to flip the page. I want you to write 3 months. Okay, so 3 months from now, we're talking, and you can write, what's that, mid-May. And then I want you to do the same four things. Okay, write the same four things under there. And then after that, guys, I want you to flip the page one more time. I want you to write 1 month, and I want you to write mid-March and those same four things. Okay, so to recap, we should have kind of four pages, right? 4 pages. It's going to be 5 year, 2030, and with those four areas: health and fitness, wealth and career, relationships, personal growth and happiness. Then you're going to write 1 year, and that's going to be 2026, those same four. Then you're going to write 3 months. It's going to be mid-May, right? The flowers will be out then. It's going to be those four areas. And then we're going to write 1 month, mid-March, in those same four areas. Okay. So after you've written that down, I want you to go back to the first page, okay, where it's the 5 year one. I want you to write the question. It can be in there small, right? And I want you to write, in the next 5 years, what do I envision for myself? I'll repeat that. In the next 5 years, what do I envision for myself? Maybe retirement, Ken? I don't know. Might still be working. And then I want you to flip the page to the 1 year and write the question, in the next 1 year, what could I do? So 1 year, in the next 1 year, what could I do? And after you've written that down, I want you to go to the 3 months. Write the question, in the next 3 months, what should I do? In the next 3 months, what should I do? And then we're going to go to the last page where it's 1 month. In the next month, what will I do? So in the next 1 month, in the next month, what will I do? Does everyone have that written down? Anyone need it repeated? You can unmute yourself if you do. Okay, so let's go to the 5 year thing. All right, I'm just gonna give you an example. And guys, one thing you're not gonna this is an ongoing thing. In 45 minutes to an hour tonight, we're not gonna be able to map out every single thing. But th one thing, this is gonna get you thinking, right? Get you thinking, what can you do? What do I envision for myself in 5 years? Then we work our way back. But I'm just going to give you a quick little example, just a health and fitness thing. Just give you a goal. For my 5 year vision, health and fitness, I want to run a half marathon on every continent, not Antarctica. So I shouldn't say every continent. I have no interest in that. But I want to run a half marathon on every continent, right? So my 1 year goal, if we went back, my 1 year goal for that, right? What could I do? I'll run a half marathon in one new country this year, right? And then my 3 month plan, right? What should I do with my health and fit to get to run that half marathon? Just my running schedule, right? And over the next month, it's for that to make that goal happen. It's breaking that down even further. What does it mean week by week? With my workout and running schedule. Right? That's just an example. But so what I want you to do is we're going to set a timer. And like I said, I don't expect you to accomplish all of this, but 5 years, okay? We're going to take about let's take about 4 or 5 minutes for each thing, right? Let's start 5 years. What do I envision in those areas? So start with 5 years. What do I envision for myself in terms of health and fitness? Right? What do I want? Do I want to be able to, go hiking, or do I want to be able to run? Do I want to still be, going to the gym and strength training? What does 5 years from now in that area look like? Just whatever comes to mind, write it down. And these could be 5 years is kind of big picture, right? So it's just writing, what do you want? What do you want that to look like? What do you want your relationships to look like? Right? What do you want? What do you want in your career? Right? Maybe you want a different job. Maybe you want a promotion. Maybe you want to be running an organization. Maybe you want to retire by then. Right? What's a wealth goal? What's a retirement goal? What does that look like in 5 years? Where do you want to be? Right? Personal growth and happiness. What are some things you want to accomplish? What are some experiences you want to take over the next 5 years? What are some of the things you want to do that make you happy? Right? Write it down. Just let the pen flow. Right? If you're having a hard time, come back to that category. Right? Maybe tonight you're just working on one category. Maybe it's just career. Maybe it's just health and fitness. Right? We are health and fitness people, so maybe it's that. But the goal of this is to get you to come back to it. But just write down, work on that 5 year right now. And can we map out 5 years in 4 to 5 minutes? No, not possible. Will some of this change over time? Absolutely, it will, right? But this is just starting the process. Okay, it's just starting the process. Process. I had a whole weekend to do this. I'm putting this in 45 to 50 minutes, 60 minutes. So I don't expect I don't expect for you to solve the world's problems in this time. So let's write for another 2 minutes on this one, and then we're going to dive into 1 year. Actually, you know what? Does anyone have anything they want to share for 5 years? You can unmute yourself.
We will be celebrating 10 years of marriage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Good goal.
She means if she doesn't end up on Snapped.
All right. Anyone else want to share anything? Ken, you must have something profound. 5 years. Me. I'll ask to unmute you. Let's try that.
Go. Is that I'm on mute now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So I think the one thing is that I don't want to retire.
Hmm?
So, how do I stay healthy and how do I uh, keep my wits about me is, I
Yeah.
guess, the best thing to do because I don't want to be a doddering old man in the corner of the room either.
Right. Yeah.
You know. And I had a mentor that said to me one time, if I'm sitting in a chair in the corner of the room and I just sit there and start drooling all the time, he says, it's time for me to go.
Yep. Yep.
And I don't want to be that person that just keeps working until, you know, they have to send them out the door.
Hmm. Yeah.
So 5 years is about the right time frame to make those life changes.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It's good.
Yep.
Anyone else? 5 years? You don't have to share. It's okay. If you don't know, you don't know.
For me, it would be to continue coming to the gym
Hmm.
and continue strength training because this is the first time I've ever joined a gym. Um, and I'd like it to continue. I'm almost to the 1 year mark
Mm.
and I do love it.
Hmm.
And it's not easy,
No.
but
No.
I love how I feel when I leave there.
Hmm.
And I love the people who are there working with me.
Yeah. And if you continue going to the gym and strength training, like that's gonna be able, you're gonna be able to do the things you want to do, right? That's really a key piece as well.
It's important
Mhm.
to continue to move. Um,
Mhm.
Very important, especially as we get older.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. I didn't pay her to say that either, guys. So,
I like because I struggle with consistency. So if I can say that I'm still doing it consistently, that's amazing.
mhm. Yep. Yep. Good. Good stuff. So now that we've done 5 years, what I want to do next is I want you to flip the page. Okay. I want you to flip the page to the 1 year. Okay. And in the next 1 year, what could I do? What could you accomplish in the next 1 year? I feel like this is so true. We overestimate what we can accomplish in a day or in a week, and we underestimate what we can accomplish in a year, right? It's like we think we can do a million things in a day when you really can't. But over a year, right, we often underestimate what we can accomplish. Right? A lot can happen in a year. A lot can happen in a year. So in the next year, in those buckets, what could I do? What could I do? We're just kind of going in reverse, right? Reverse engineering. What's the 5 year vision? And now 1 year, you're getting a little more specific, right? 5 years when you set that vision, a little, it's big picture, right? It's kind of a little bit more dreamy. But now 1 year, what could you do to really make those 5 year things happen, right? Because we're really just planting the seeds now to make to get us to the 5 years. When we did this exercise in January, um, we first went back 20 years and just kind of wrote everything about what were you doing in 2005. I was in high school, and everyone looked at me. I was the youngest one there by just a little bit, and they were like, "Geez," like they were not in high school, so it's kind of funny. And then we went 20 years ahead, right? And 20 years ahead, like that's big, right? That's big. So that's but for this one, I just went 5 years. I don't need you to think 20 years ahead. I'd love for you all to still be working out at the gym in 20 years. I know that's probably not totally realistic. Um, Ken will still be there in 20 years once you can. Let me.
So in 20 years, I will have that memorial plaque at the gym. That's my goal.
Well,
He worked out until the end.
to get the memorial plaque, you have to perish at the gym.
Oh, okay. That might be possible. Probably on the bike.
Perhaps that would be a fitting end for
Yep.
you.
Yep.
So in 1 year, what could I do? And some things that I wrote down, guys, because I did these same exercises. I have my notebook right beside me. Um, Half marathon, schedule it, right? Just got to do it. That's number one. Um, I put lift weights, strength, right? That's important, not just and run more. So they were a little more, still big picture, not super specific. Um, but they're on there. Um, so we'll still take another minute on this, and you can come back to this later. But anyone want to share what the next 1 year, what could I do? Anyone want to share? I don't want to call on someone, but I will. Kidding. I'm not going to call on anyone. It's up to you.
I'll share.
Go ahead, Christine.
So the one thing I really would love to be able to do is find a healthier balance between my work life
Hmm.
and my personal life, which will give me better relationships,
Yep.
more happiness, and make me feel healthier. I
Hmm.
think my stress level will come down. I
Yep.
can't count this year, obviously,
Yeah.
considering the situation I'm under. But
Yep.
that's the one thing I'd like to have as a balance within this year to
Yep.
help achieve my 5 year goal
Yep.
eventually. But I think I need to find that healthier balance between
Yep.
those.
Yeah. I like that you said not perfect balance because that doesn't exist, but a little healthier.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Like if I have a day that's way off, I can't let that determine that's the rest of the way it's going to go for the rest of the year or the week or the day. I
Yep.
just have to shut it down and say, you get this one day, but you don't get the rest of it,
Yep.
and shut it off. But it's hard to, I think a lot of you are like this, especially, no offense, Ken, but women tend to push harder because we're seen as the weaker sex in careers and jobs. And so we seem to work harder to prove that we can handle it all, plus have a healthier balance between our personal life and our career life to show that it doesn't affect us. And I think that's much harder for women sometimes.
Shots
Sorry,
fired,
Ken,
Ken.
but it's true.
Shots fired, Ken. It's okay. Ken hires women.
I know.
Apparently,
Ken,
I
you
only
hiring
I
none?
only hire women, so
Obviously, right?
right. Anyone else want to share? You don't have to. Going once, going twice. Sold. So now I want you to turn the page again. We're getting a little more specific. In the next 3 months, what should I do? Right? In the next 3 months, what should I do? So for me, when I use my running example, um, I have lift 2 times a week at least, right? At least 2 strengths a week, run at least once per week. Um, it's a little harder this time of year. Really, at the end of these 3 months is when I'll start really cranking it up because the weather will be nicer. Um, right now, I've just been walking outside more. Running outside is just because I don't want to hurt myself and slip on the ice and then I set myself back. And then the last one is track my macros. I've been doing that a little bit. I need to do that a little bit better. But that's going to help me reach my goal. So in the next 3 months, what should I do? The next 3 months, what should I do? All right, so now we're getting a little bit more specific. So we're talking mid-May. What should you do in the next 3 months to make it happen? What can you do in those areas in the next 3 months? Maybe it's just one little thing, right? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe right now you're just focusing on one bucket, come back to the others later. That's fine too. Right? This is your life. This is you. This is all you. You only get one of them, so make the best of it. So in the next 3 months, what should I do? Anyone want to share anything? I know you're probably still writing. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but in the next 3 months, what should I do?
I put that I would at least, oh, sorry,
No, that's
come to some Saturday gym sessions.
Nice.
It's hard for me, I feel like it, to fit them in sometimes, but I feel in the next 3 months I can at least hit one a month.
You will. I look
Mhm.
forward to it. And then by
Yeah.
the end of the 3 months too, we'll have an outdoor
Outside.
workout.
Yeah,
In May. So that makes it a little more, you like to
it's
get
easier
outside.
outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like that. So
Hmm.
um yeah. But the inside ones are good.
Yeah.
Yep, good. That's a good one. Sarah?
stay consistent at 3 times per week. Plus, I should do my stretching.
So that's good. That's good. Yep.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you some advice on how to do that, but
Thank you.
yep. What you need to do is just schedule them, check them off. For me, it's just, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes just having that simple checklist, right? Check it, right? Maybe it's a calendar, maybe it's just a simple spreadsheet, maybe it could be anything, just something where you just have that check mark. And I guarantee if you work out for 3 times a week for consistently for three months, you're gonna be way better off than if you didn't, right? Way better off. Yep. Anyone else in the next 3 months, what should I do? Anyone? Nice. Perfect. You're all writing. You're all deep in thought. That's good. So now we're gonna go to the last one, right? To the one month. So in the next month, what will I do? Not what should I do, what will I do? In the next month, so mid-March, what will I do? Right? For Denise, it's probably just schedule that one Saturday, right? What will I do? I'll just schedule that sucker. Yep, and make it happen. So the next 3 months, what will I do? This is where I got a little specific, a little more specific. For my running goal, I still lift two. Some of these are going to be in your three month too, but lift 2 times a week, track it, run slash walk at least twice per week. Protein on point, tracking the macros, so getting a little bit more specific about protein. Get a half date on the calendar, and then sleep. I know running and any health goal, sleep is very important. How am I going to get better sleep? Less screen time, a little more wind down time, right? Getting that phone out of my hand, right? Getting that phone out of my hand. So just a little bit more specific with the 1 month target. So in the next month, what will I do? And I put in so when I did this back in January, um, for the personal um, growth and happiness, I put a couple experiences. Florida trip to see my parents, did that, right? Check that off because I put it on the calendar. Also put Super Bowl party, which we didn't have, but we watched it. Um, so that was on there, but that's
You
okay.
had that on your list and you didn't help me plan a Super Bowl party. So this was your failure.
Yep,
Yeah. Okay. Good. Glad we talked about that
yep, yep.
because it was on my list too and I didn't do it.
Yeah, sorry. Next year. Yep. So then, good thing she's downstairs. Um, in the next month, what will I do? Anyone want to share? Christine, what are you going to do in the next month?
Me? I know I'm gonna start joining my Saturday classes again, which I'm
Right.
stoked about.
Nice, nice,
And I am gonna walk away from my desk when it's time to clock out and not linger.
good,
Because I want to commit to my personal growth.
good.
And I'm gonna set specific blocks of time dedicated to my my physical therapy and
Yep,
stop giving it up for work.
yep,
And my training can only happen 1 hour a week at work, and that's it.
yep.
And keep a positive attitude and keep everybody's spirits high in my family during this construction
Mm.
or destruction of my construction.
Yeah,
That's it for me so far.
yep. Well, you got some stuff down. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yep. Anyone else? Who else wants to share? In the next month, what will I do? All right, let's unmute Ken.
So in the next month, one thing that stuck out was the fact that because I hurt my ankle, I
Hmm.
missed doing what I had planned to do, which was 2 weeks in a row and do 3 days of strength training.
Yep.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
It's going to start 2 weeks from now or a week
Yep.
from now, maybe.
Yep.
My ankle's feeling pretty good, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
push it.
You take this week at least. Yeah,
Yeah,
take this week at least. Right. It's okay
yeah.
to go walk a little bit, but don't do anything crazy. But that's good.
No,
Next month, that's
no.
good.
So that's my plan to do that
Hmm.
for fitness, and
Hmm.
also planning. This is something I've always tried to do, but I haven't been able to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Is the whole idea of meal planning, and it's you start it, and then all of a sudden you miss a Sunday, doing the meal prep,
Hmm.
and now you're in the middle of the week, and I'm making chili on the stove,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's taking me time to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like doing it because I'm tired. So,
Right.
And if I don't meal plan, then I have a bag of chips.
Yep. Yep.
So,
I think we all do. Like
yeah,
that's like if you leave it up to chance, right, then it ain't gonna happen. Or it's
right. And you do
apt to
stuff
happen.
you do stuff you shouldn't do.
Hmm.
You know, you just fall back on what's easy. Well, there's a bag of chips sitting there. I'm going to eat those.
Yeah. But remember, consistency, right?
Yep.
You know, you're not gonna be perfect, right? No one's perfect, not even me. I know that's hard to believe. I can admit it. So, you just get back after it. But yeah, I mean, getting those meal prep Sundays in, that's important, or just planning out a menu, stuff like that. That's just gonna keep you on the rails. You're just gonna feel better
Right.
instead of
And I
going,
do feel better when I do that.
yeah, yep,
One thing that helps us in an emergency, because like you can plan to meal plan and then, but like sometimes, like you said, you do good for a few weeks and then you just get caught up. We have like some of those icon meals in the freezer. And so, like, if something falls through and we didn't plan enough meals or whatever, or like one of them comes out really bad, then we have those icon meals to pull out of the freezer in a pinch.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice to like, well, I could go out to eat and or order out and stuff and get fast food, or I could just eat one of those meals that we already have. So that's helped us because if sometimes I don't cook in time and then
hmm
where we are.
yeah. And we like those ones. I have a friend, a gym owner friend who uses them a lot, and they have pretty good macros. The pre-made meals the best for you? No, of course not. But like these ones are solid. They're good on the macros. You can kind of pick and choose, and they're good in a pinch. So they're
What are
called
they called again?
Icon meals. And I always buy them. You can always find discount codes, coupon codes on the internet, and I get great deals.
And we'll get like the same five, and we'll get like five of one thing. So,
Yep.
because we like those. So that way it's like, we really like the breakfast burrito. So it's like, if we have a few of those in there, that saves us from making a bad choice. So we get like, we just know because we've tried a bunch of them, we know we like these like 5 to 6 ones. So having like a few of each of those on hand in the freezer, it's been good.
Thank you.
There's other ones out there. There's like you see them, you probably get like hammered with them. If you search one online, you're gonna get like all the ads for the other ones. But like Factor is a big one, and
Yeah.
Flex Meals, there's a bunch, right? They're just good to have in a pinch. Yep, good to have. Who else? One in the next month, what will I do? Anyone?
I'll do a Saturday class.
Yeah, you will. You're gonna schedule it. You're gonna make it happen.
Hmm.
Yep. We're not
I'll
gonna do
do it
that.
with you.
There you
Okay,
go.
let's do
Yep.
that.
Can't do it next Saturday though. I'm
Okay,
still restricted.
all right.
And Ken will be there too. Maybe.
Always.
Well, Ken, will you
Ken's
still
always
do
there.
Saturday if you do three strength?
I don't know about that. That's
Yeah.
like that would be pushing it.
That might be a thing where you wake up Saturday if you're feeling okay, you'll do it, but
Yeah.
yeah, don't overdo it.
Saturdays are so different for
Yeah.
cardio
Yeah.
that it's
Different.
I don't know if I can make it through them, you know. At the
Yeah.
end there, I'm like dying.
Yep. But you
But
don't die. You keep going.
no,
We're not
I
ready
don't
to
die.
get black yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No plaque yet. Anyone else in the next month? What will I do? Cool. All right. So that was a good writing exercise, guys. And like I said, I don't expect you to finish all of that, right? I want you to revisit it. I want you to I want you to go back to it when you have some time. Maybe block out some time, sometime this week, maybe sometime this weekend, and dive a little bit deeper into those. Start with the 5 year, and then we go back to the 1 year, the 3 month, and the 1 month, right? And um, the next thing, and we're gonna wrap up here shortly. And that was the kind of the big one, the big writing exercise. Um, how do you stay on track, right? It's there's millions of ways to reach your goals. Not every method works for everyone, right? Especially this exercise we did. I don't expect you to take every single thing out of here. If it's just one thing, fantastic, right? But actions are bigger than words, right? Words are okay, but actions really count. You can say you'll do something, you can say you'll accomplish something, but actions matter, right? I want you to remember not every week's going to be perfect, right? Not every week's going to be perfect, Ken, when it comes to food. But the key is to aim for consistency, not perfection, and just doing it most of the time, right? Doing it most of the time. And last, if you aren't measuring, you aren't progressing. So you have to measure stuff. I'm not saying you have to measure every ingredient, everything, but what I'm talking about is you need to check in regularly. You need to have some accountability. For me, right, use us as a resource. I know many of you have met with Becca. You see us all the time for our goal setting sessions, but um, it's important to check in and do some self-reflection, right? So every Sunday, I do my goals, I write them out, I send them to my coach, all that. But I have a planner that I use, and I got it at this retreat. And it's just something that power about writing something down versus having it on a computer. But um, I'll show you. This is like every day, right? So I don't use every piece of it. So my top three tasks, my to-do list. Today I'm grateful for, greatest accomplishment. It has mood, what day of the week. You can write all that, but I only do bits and pieces. So each day I write down the important things on my to-do list. Um, you have this has a monthly calendar where what are your four biggest wins? What are this month's goals? Um, and then each week there's also a section to go over, weekly reflection, this week's wins, lessons learned this week, how I'll improve next week's priorities, right? And on this, I don't fill out everything. I use what works for me in this planner, and that's cool. So, but I do it every Sunday. I look at what I accomplished, what I missed, what needs to change. This keeps me on track, right? And at the end of the year, I'm like, oh man, like I can look back at some of these and like, sometimes it's hard to zoom out, right? But if you're doing regular reflection, you're like, man, I accomplished a lot. When maybe it seems like in the moment, oh my gosh, I didn't do that much. But if you're regularly reflecting, it's important. Um, and then, um, guys, I think the closing thoughts, right, are core four. It's about long-term success through small, consistent efforts, right? Goals don't happen by chance; they happen by choice, right? You prioritize them, you make time for them, you revisit your goals regularly, you adjust your approach when needed, right? That's what reflection is, right? Think of a plane, if the radar was out and you were going off course and you didn't course correct, you could end up at the wrong destination. So it's key to reflect, to get that radar back on, to change course when you need to. And the important thing is, take action today, right? And you're here, you're doing it. Success doesn't come from motivation, right? The motivation only lasts so long. It comes from discipline, establishing those habits, taking action, and now you just need to go make it happen. So, thank you. Appreciate your time. That's 1 hour on the dot. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But go back, do that writing exercise. If you need anything, please use us. Use myself, Becca, whoever, we're here for you. But use each other too, right? That's important. The people you work out with, the people maybe it's family, maybe it's friends. Like use them, right? Use your support group. Any questions, any thoughts, anything I help with right now?
Thank you for this.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you very
absolutely.
much.
Yeah.
A little bit different approach, right? A little bit different approach to than we normally do, and I think this is good because it kind of keeps it simple. I know 5 years it might not seem simple, but just those little buckets, right? If we're kind of consistently watering those buckets, then good things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen, and you're reflecting, right? That's important. Anyone else questions that I can answer? Anything? Takeaways? Anything?
All good here. Thank you
All
so
good?
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. I know Ken's got to get to bed. So,
You
Probably you
sleepy,
do
Ken.
too.
right, yeah. I'm not the early morning tomorrow. I'm the evening. So my Sarah's she's got to be at work at 4, so I'm sure I'll
Ugh,
be up. But
poor
uh,
Sarah.
Look, here's the beast here.
oh, look at the cat.
Aw,
This is Miss
Nice.
Clara.
Oh, hi Clara.
what a cutie.
Hi
Yeah.
Clara.
She's
Nice.
not snuggly.
Sheldon went to the vet today. He's doing
Aw.
okay. He's doing
Yeah,
okay.
he's fine.
He's doing okay. Yeah.
Oh, aw.
Hi Shelly.
Where's Leonard?
Leonard is
He's hiding.
not setting goals.
No, he has no goals.
Oh, hello, Lenny. He's under the
Poor
couch.
Lenny.
It's like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, what a guy.
what a bud.
Okay, thank you, Adam. I'm gonna keep juicing.
All right. Well,
Bye.
guys, thank you. I'll
Thank
send out
you.
this recording and appreciate your
Thank you.
time. And yeah, thank you.
Have a
Appreciate
good
you.
night.
All right.
Bye. Bye,
Bye,
Christine.
guys.
Bye, Denise.